I was the type of individual who felt so responsible for other people's emotions that even around strangers, if there was like an awkward silence, I would feel as if I had to fill the void, right? Or if somebody looked like they were stressed out or uncomfortable in a situation, I felt I had to talk just to kind of lubricate that situation. I always felt as if it was my responsibility to make sure that everybody in the room was comfortable, right? And that really started in a family dynamic. I started with the folks where, oh man, it doesn't seem like mom's having a good day. Let me throw out a joke, right? Let me get entertaining. Let me put, my hat and my tap dance shoes and let me do a little song and dance. Like I had to do something in order to make those around me feel comfortable. And I believed that I was doing them a service, but in reality, I was looking to serve myself. And that is the truth about people pleasing. That is the truth about codependency at its core, is we do these things in order for us to feel better about ourselves. We do it to ease our own tension. If you reflect to me that you're unhappy, that probably means that I am not enough. And we do this in intimate relationships, in friendships, in family dynamics, with strangers or people we don't know. I actually want to stop using that word stranger. Nobody's really a stranger. It's just an individual I do not yet know. There's nothing strange about them. They're human too, right? But I found myself continuously and perpetually living in the state of always feeling like I had to be on, because if I wasn't, then what was everybody else going to do? Like, that's real life arrogance right there, right? If I don't do it, then who's going to do it? Like, I got to save the world, otherwise nobody else would do it. And of course, that came as a product of religious programming, right? When you believe that you are here to save everybody, like that is your one sole responsibility in this life. And so I really had to start facing the truth of why I was doing what I was doing. Why did I feel responsible for other people's emotions? Before I could even like completely accept the idea that I wasn't responsible for other people's emotions, which is nice to say, it's cute to say, right? I'm not responsible for anybody's emotions, but yet internally I feel dissonance. But yet in my life, I'm showing the very opposite in some relationship. When you genuinely feel you don't have responsibility or you're not responsible for people's emotions, you live as that in every aspect, in every area of your life. There's an unapologetic nature that just consumes your entire existence. And again, it doesn't mean you no longer acknowledge people or have a sense of understanding and true compassion for anybody, but instead you stop taking their emotions as your own. You stop being the manager, right? You're like a community manager. You work at the apartment building and everybody's emotions seem to be your business. Oh, I'll send maintenance over as soon as possible. That's how you're living your life. And guess what? It is a failing recipe every single time. Every single time you do that, you are going to end up in a place where you are more resentful, more bitter, more stressed out, more unfulfilled. You will continue to live a life where you are dropping your life in order to pick up somebody else's. And somebody told you that was a definition of love, right? They said love is sacrificing yourself for the other. Love is, losing your life for the other. All these kind of ideas that have been pushed through whatever mechanism, whether it was religion or the secular world. You believe that that was love, and so you started demonstrating in that way. Self-sacrifice, believing that you were morally just through your own self-sacrifice. Man, if somebody's feeling some type of way, forget about me, I'm willing to feel like trash as long as everybody else feels good. Or you walk into a room and you feel amazing, you're having a great day, and people in there are not, and you feel responsible to either, make them feel better, or you start to feel worse yourself in order to quote unquote harmonize yourself in that room. So you actually betray yourself in that moment in order to calibrate into what everybody else is on. Get into that energy. Instead of being unapologetic and saying this ain't my space, or walking in there and just being yourself. People, why are you so happy? Because I am. Why are you so? Because I am. Because this is who I am. And the vice versa. Why aren't you talking to anybody? Because I'm not. Why aren't you energetic? Because I'm not. I am where I am. And I'm going to be where I'm going to be. And that's that. And I am not responsible to make you feel any type of way. Because again, people will use this aspect of you. if you put this out, this is exactly how people are going to discern you. That's how energy works, right? That's what you will attract into your life. If you're a person who is always looking to manage people's emotions, you will always get people who need emotional management. So when you stop managing their emotions, when you start getting tired of it, when you start getting stressed out by it, they will continue to come to you with demands and say, why are you not smiling? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not showing up that way? And they might not say it directly, but they're definitely going to say it at a subconscious level, right? You're going to feel that they're needing you to do something to show up in the way that you used to show up in order to make them feel better, right? Because that was your job. Your job was to make them feel better because you made that your job. That was the resume that you sent in as a community manager. And so that's why you got that role. And it's not until you finally quit that job, you leave that role completely, will you actually start to experience a life of freedom. And you might consider yourself a empath. I actually made a video called The Dark Empath, the truth about empathy, or the truth about the empath, right? Not empathy necessarily, but the empath. And how we use it as a phrase or a word, almost as like a bragging thing, right? Oh, I'm just an empath. I can't control the way I feel. And, you know, I mean, if that's what you want for yourself, go right ahead. But what that really means is you have not yet learned how to discern your own emotional state versus somebody else's, or you take on other people's emotions because you're afraid of rejection. That's what that's about. It's not this altruistic, I'm just an empath and I'm just so sensitive. Like, no, when you're taking on the energies of others all the time, making them your own, that's not a superpower. The superpower is when you can discern your own, which means you understand and you're tapped in and tuned in with your own emotional state, and you can stay regulated within yourself, right? Understanding others, perceiving others, but being a watcher as opposed to being an absorber. That's how that works. I'm not empath shaming, right? I'm an individual who considered myself an empath for most of my life. I would just take on everybody's emotions, and now I realize, oh, I was just emotionally open, right? Not in the same way like your heart is open and your chakras open, but I was literally just like wide open. I was allowing anything in because I needed that validation, because I needed that sense of quote unquote love that was demonstrated through my people-pleasing behaviors, or that came to me as a result of my people-pleasing behaviors. That being said, before I wrap up, guilt-free plug, Doing Me Guilt-Free. This is my first published book. This is the book I wish I had at 7 years old, 17 years old, here 27, and every other 7 in existence, and all the time in between, to be honest with y'all. This is a constant reminder of the only way to live, and the only way to live free. So make sure to get yourself a copy of that. Until then, namaste. Namaskar.